Okay, so tonight I would like to talk about something which was not expected at all, as you can imagine. I was not sure that I was going to talk about it because it's not really the purpose of my videos right now, but it was really difficult to spend 1 week without hearing about David Bowie. Absolutely everywhere I go, every time I go on Facebook, I see things about David Bowie, and honestly it's very difficult not to think about it, because I can only talk about the way I lived the news, which has been rather difficult for me. I was not expecting something like that, seriously. So I heard the news through the app I have on my phone. It's the BBC app, and it was during the night of the 10th and the 11th for me. It was already the 11th of January in Europe. So basically I heard the news before sleeping, and I was in shock. I was totally in shock, because weirdly, and I can't really explain why, I couldn't imagine that David Bowie could die. I know it sounds ridiculous because he was a human being as everybody, and there is no reason for that, but I've been wondering why I had such a vision of David Bowie. So for me, David Bowie was the artist that I was listening to a lot when I was a teenager. I still have this. It's Diamond Dogs, and this is Aladdin, Sane. So these are the original albums that I had when I was a teenager. I still have them. I absolutely adored these albums. They were among the first records that I really bought intentionally, not things that I received from the radios thanks to my mother, really things that I decided to get. So they were important to me, but I was wondering why. You know, when I was a teenager, I was drawing and painting a lot on the music I was listening to in my bedroom, so probably at a point I was playing that and drawing and painting on that, but I never intentionally painted or drew on David Bowie music. Why? Why? I wondered why. Why? Because I love so much this music, and even what he did after, and even what he did before, like this, for example. I actually have also this album. It's not the best one, but there are a few songs that I like in it, but it's not the best one. And what is really strange is that one day before he died, I ordered from an English seller, I ordered Heroes, and I was supposed to receive it, but the next day when David Bowie died, I received an email from the seller saying, "We are sorry, the record, the CD is gone, it has been sold, we are out of stock, you have to order again later. We can have more right now because of his death, probably. So I will wait a little to order Heroes again." Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm lost in my thoughts. I was wondering why I was not drawing or really painting about David Bowie. And I suppose that it was because he was making the visual himself. It was a whole concept. It was not only music, it was also image, thoughts. He offered us the whole package, you know. So we didn't have much to imagine because everything was there. But anyway, as much as I love David Bowie's music, I don't see images on his musics, even not the ones that he gave us. It's just music, some music that I really love, but no images. And when he died, I was under shock because I was like, no, that's impossible. David Bowie can't die. You know, it's like a monument. It's like if you were telling me the Eiffel Tower doesn't exist anymore. You know, it's something like that. No, it's impossible. Which is ridiculous because why? After all, he's a human being. So first it has been the Daniel during 1 hour or 2, and then I realized that he was really dead, and I started crying the whole night. I couldn't sleep before 5 a.m. and I was like, that is really strange. He did all that, and now what? He just died, and what? And I thought, okay, at least we have his music, or his visual, his images, his style, the whole story. I must admit that I was not following David Bowie lately. I liked a lot what he did when he was younger, and even a few things after, but I don't like all the albums he did. But you know, I think he didn't have anything to prove more. He was already a legend when I was 16. When I was 16, for me, he was already a legend. So now, what's the point, you know? What could he do more? I had no idea what kind of person he could be. I never searched about him, never. I was not even curious to know what was his personality, because I was not seeing him like a human being. Maybe I was seeing him like an alien or something, I don't know. That is really strange, because I never pay attention to what kind of man he could be, because actually I don't see, and I still don't see him like a human being. You know, I watched a lot of interviews lately on YouTube to try to understand what happened, who was he. I missed something. There is something that I didn't understand. And still, by watching his interviews, I still don't know who he is. He seems to be in his characters every time, and he's different every time, so we don't know who he is, you know. So the next day I thought, well, okay, at least we have his music, the whole concept, the whole package, and we still can listen to his music. And then I thought, no, he didn't let us only that. I understood something, that we had to enjoy life very quickly and as quickly as possible, because life is really short and we never know if something like that could happen. So we have to live every day like if it was the last one. The whole day, the next day, I drove through Los Angeles. The whole day I had to see everything, to do everything. I couldn't stop doing something like if it was urgent, you know. And then the day after, a friend of mine, we were talking about David Bowie and through emails, and he asked me, okay, you are going to do videos about David Bowie? And I said, no, I wouldn't know what to say. He's still like a kind of alien somehow. I still don't know who is this man. It's really strange. He wants to be a part of the video too. So I was thinking, what is the difference? Why I want to do videos about Hollis and why I wouldn't want to do videos or art about David Bowie. I'm not saying that I will never do that. I don't know. Maybe later I would like to do that. But right now, no, I think there is not much more to say or to do about David Bowie. He did it all. I mean, he did it all. He even organized his death. He even created the event of his death. What can you say more than that? I don't know. It would be completely redundant. It would be not interesting. Not that Hollis said nothing. No, but I think that Hollis has much more a human dimension. I really see him like a human being, not like an alien. And he was only Hollis, I think he was only suggesting, not saying. So it's up to us to imagine the rest, or to build the rest, or to give images. And by talking with my friend, I realized that my friend was saying, okay, you painted about Jim Morrison, who died. You painted about Keith Moon, who died. Now you are painting about Hollis. He's alive, so why him? And I realized something, that yes, he's alive. He's alive. Fortunately, he's alive. But he's not around. We don't see him. We don't hear him. We listen to the music he made before, but we don't know what he's doing now. And it's like if he disappeared from our life. So somehow it's a way to maintaining him or his music alive. I don't want these people to disappear. I don't want these musics to disappear. I'm very honest right now. I start realizing why I'm doing all this. I want to keep it all. I want everything to be still alive. I want to make this music still alive and still present. When people tells me, oh, it's from the 80s, it's done, it's old. No, for me it's still the present. Not that I'm the kind of person looking back all the time. I also look at the future. But it doesn't mean, it's not because you are looking at the future that the past has no interest. I mean, we become what we are in the future by learning from the past. So we have to acknowledge the past. And for me, it's not the past. Fortunately, Hollis is still alive. So at least we know that it's still possible, you know, there is still a possibility of something. So that is really strange that I love Tok Tok and Hollis music, and in the same time I used and still love David Bowie's music. One inspires me, the other one doesn't inspire me. Why? Why? So I think that there is with Tok Tok and Hollis a much deeper, I would say, spontaneity, something natural, something that I can understand and that I can relate to in the Tok Tok and Hollis music. As much as I love David Bowie and his music, I can't relate to the concept of Mars or Ziggy Stardust or things like that, because these concepts are not close to me. I only love his music because of the music, not especially because of the visual or because of the lyrics, because I can't really even tell you what the lyrics are about, except when he says live on Mars, or that's weird. I never got interest in that either. I just just love the music. I think it was just for the sake of the music. The melodies can be really nice. Very often it's things that we remember. Oh, the only lyrics that I know, it's I'm afraid of American. But that is because we were, my son and I, listening a lot to Trent Reznor with David Bowie, they made a cover of the song. So that's why we learn the lyrics, because they are very easy to comprehend. And actually, I relate to that more because I'm afraid of American too. So I could understand this kind of lyrics because I understand them. One day I will explain to you why I'm afraid of American. I'm French and it's pretty scary here for a French woman. Anyway, is there a common point between this and this? I mean, not specifically these albums. I mean, between Mark Hollis and David Bowie. Is there a common point? Yes, there is. First, they are both English. Then the change. The change is an important factor in the Tok Tok and Mark Hollis concept. Not only change of style, not only change of kind of albums, and not only change of kind of music, but also look at pictures of Mark Hollis from the beginning to what is supposed to be the end. I will do a video about that because I'm still amazed by the change in this person. And it's not the same kind of change as David Bowie. The change with David Bowie is much more obvious. One day he's like this, the next day he's, I don't have pictures with me, but he's like a perfect English gentleman. The change are very obvious. He doesn't hide the fact that he's changing the character, changing himself. With Mark Hollis it's much more subtle. I mean, it's not the fact that he has long hair or short hair or sunglasses or not, or a suit, or simply dressed like a hippie. No, that is not the main point of the change. Just look at the face, the expression, and you have the feeling to have a different person in front of you. So I would say that if I had to go with the common point between the both, beside the fact that they are both English, there is this change which is very important in both lives. But beside that, they are totally different. I see a lot of sincerity and spontaneity here, and a lot of improvisation and experiment. You have the experiment here, but everything is organized in advance. There is not a lot of spontaneity. David Bowie is absolutely the champion. He's the kind of person who decides for himself about his image, what he's going to do, what he's going to say, how he's going to look, and what message he wants to give us. So it's very difficult to know what is the person behind that, because he's in control all the time. What I like with Mark Hollis is that he doesn't give much. He doesn't like to talk in interviews. He keeps everything private for himself. We don't know much about him as about his private life. I mean, he doesn't give much about that. But we can feel the person behind the image. We can see really a true natural human being, someone sincere. I'm not saying that David Bowie is not sincere. I'm absolutely certain that he was sincere in his career. I think that he lived. His whole life was for his career. But that's the problem. The whole life was for the career. So what was the place for the private life? I don't know. Obviously he was taking care of his kids, he was married, he had a private life, but we absolutely don't know what it was. I still have the feeling that the career and the image were more important than his everyday life. But there was a reason for that. I saw an interview a very long time ago about him, but it was in the period when he was still taking drugs and he was very thin, and he was still in the look Ziggy Stardust, and he said in this interview, I don't want to become again this person who had no money, and I think that was his main motto in life. His main goal was to not be the person he was when he was a child, and the style of life he had when he was a child. It's incredible. The motivation is huge in this case, and he managed to do it. He will never be this kind of person, never anymore. He became a legend, a monument. He went way beyond what he wanted, you know. It's incredible. Somehow I admire his career. I'm not saying that I would like that for myself, because I don't have the same motivation as he had. I can more relate about someone like Hollis, because somehow his way of thinking, I suppose, because I don't know him, are closer to me, I would say. I understand better, I relate better to that. That's probably why I'm able to paint on his music, because I see the images that he wants to transmit, and then because I can relate to his spirit. I admire, I like his way of doing. I think that for Hollis it was more a pursuit for excellence, for best and best music. Of course he was taking care of his image too, but not as much as David Bowie, because David Bowie, it was, oh, he's a painter, so of course the visual aspect for him was so as important as the music itself. He said in an interview, I considered that I was not good enough in painting, so I went to music. I think that he would have tackled anything, he would have become great, because he was someone like that. I don't think that I will paint one day about David Bowie. He said everything. There is nothing to add. I think I need the feelings to paint, and I'm not sure what are David Bowie's feelings, even though he seemed to be a very nice and sympathetic man. He seemed really nice. I would have loved to have a conversation with him. He's rather interesting. Every interview I saw was rather smart. I mean, nothing stupid, you know. There is another difference between the both also. Everything was about communication here. You see, even when he dies, he communicates. That's incredible. That is something that honestly, I can't understand that. I can't digest that. It must be so scary to die like that, and still he was thinking of what he's going to show to the world. That is crazy. I mean, I still don't understand the concept right now. I'm like, what? I suppose that I can't understand something like that because it's not my way of thinking, so that's why I can't relate to that. But I absolutely accept and respect the intention. I mean, it was his death, so it was his choice somehow. It's incredible. He thought of us before thinking of something else. Okay, I must stop thinking about that, because somehow I find that scary, and I I really can't understand something like that. Maybe later, because you know, between the news the day he died and now, I went through so many way of thinking that I couldn't even catch up with myself. So I think I need more time to digest the news first and to understand the situation and what happened. Anyway, I want just to remember this. I want to remember David Bowie like that. I mean like that. Not under drugs, it's not what I mean. But I mean, as I was seeing him when I was, let's say, 16, 17, I want to remember David Bowie like that. What is great with Hollis is that I can remember him as I was in the 80s, and also as I was after, and also as I am now, because there is nothing scary about him, or nothing that I can't understand. The only thing that I regret is that he's not around anymore. But if this situation keeps him alive, that's all what I'm asking for. And if this situation keeps him happy, that's all what I'm asking for. We want to keep and to maintain our legends alive as long as possible, because music is important to us. I think, at least music is very important to me, as you understood. And I want to keep all this little world alive around me, or not around me, but I mean around my mind, I would say. I just hope that the bad news are going to stop now, because it's a little too much. This last month, it has been really hard. I don't want to be sad all the time. So see you later, and thank you for watching me until the end. Bye bye.